And just the secret here is just being patient, biding your time, and picking the right gap. It can be tricky. I actually think there's a gap here now. Oh no! Oh no! Gonna have to do it again. No. Take it, Diddy.
Have it.
That one looks a little bit sunny. Looks like producer.
How's my technique?
Yeah. Here we go. Give it.
Pull. Take it.
Just watch it, not another line. No, one down. And one again. Come a little bit towards me. Come, walk back towards me. Okay, that's it. Well done. Okay. Pump and one, nice and steady. Pull up slowly and then one down.
Coming around, boys, like a professional.
Keep the pressure. Well done. One more rod to move. Well done. Shifting, boys. One down. That's it, quickly. Up, one down. And again. That's it, and again. That's it, and again. Just try not to jerk too much, but pull up. And one. Fishes here. Pull up slowly. Take him full. That's it! Yes! Yee, Cam, my boy! Well done, bro. Okay, we keep hold it.
I think that's the biggest one ever caught.
Well done, boy. Well done, Cam.
Did you guys film that?
Yeah. I'll do another cutter there. That's your first cutter?
Ever.
First cutter?
All by myself without any instruction from anyone as well.
100%.
Here we go, Daddy. Lots of big here, Daddy.
What is that? Cheat? Oh no, it's a snook, big snook.
Big one, Dad.
Half snook.
Evening, guys, rather, and welcome to this week's Go Fish Weekly Wrap Up. We're here at BK's place, not for too much longer. BK here in Durban North.
Yeah, it's a hell of a thing. I'm having to move closer to the ski boat club. I'm actually as close as you can get. I'm the first house next to Mshlonga Ski Boat Club. That's terrible. I've been packing the whole week. Mary's been very busy with the
Yeah,
kids,
yeah.
so I've been yeah. Anyway,
There's a
yeah.
big BS from inside the room there. Yeah. But yeah, guys, BK, welcome. Yeah, good to have you on again. Unfortunately, you couldn't make it last week, but we missed you in the studio. But well, at NPB, and it's been a bit of bad weather this week. But in between sort of the bad weather, there's been a couple of gaps. The first start of the week was a bit cuck. Then there's been a couple of gaps, and once again the Kuta have been on it. So yeah, I mean it's been firing.
No, it's been awesome. I mean, still, guys, like we've been speaking about every time, guys. This is the best season we're definitely having for Kuta. Everyone's catching. You've seen the highlights there. Even Cameron, our cameraman, is catching. So yeah, so the fish are really wild. But yeah, guys, it's great, and the water's warm. You know, the guys were out again this afternoon. It's back up at 26.5. It dropped with that east we had. We had a bit of east, and as usual, that brings the colder water in. But yeah, you can see the guys are getting some epic fish, fish over 30 kilos coming out on the yaks. Actually getting fish, and also on jet ski, on ski boat. So anything.
Lane Khan got 2 nice fish.
Yeah, Lane Khan had some nice fish on the jet ski, and yeah, I can see there. Marcus has got a nice speed bream there on his birthday. Yeah, so some really quality fish coming through. So lots of shoal fish, but also now the big fish popping up. A lot of guys getting bitten off now, you know, through the wire and that sort of thing. So I think you probably got those shoalies, and you probably got some real big crocs coming with them and probably feeding off them, because you know, there's some very small fish, 2-3 kilos, and they're not scared. There's Kev with a nice wahoo. I think he maybe even got that today.
Yeah,
so yeah, nice wahoo. Lots of wahoo around as well. Guys are getting all the way from Durban right up to there. I think it was more than likely be in that Belito Salt Rock area, on the slightly deeper water. You know, on that 24, 26 fathom line. They like to sit out there in that slightly deeper water. But yeah, unbelievable fishing. Can't wait to get out on the weekend. I've been jammed up a bit. I'm going tomorrow morning though, so I can't wait for that either. But yeah, it's looking awesome, and I honestly think it's just going to continue. It's going to get better and better.
Yeah, 100%. And the great thing is the fishing has been all over the place, from far south down sort of Margate, Shelley Beach side, all the way up the north coast to Vidal, Sodwana. The Oaks are getting unbelievable fish, and some amazing, I think the most sort of range of species I've seen in a very long time around this time of year. Especially off our Durban areas, you're not generally seeing all the queenfish that these oaks are catching, those various kingfish species. I mean, the oaks were loading on brassy kingfish and bludgers the other day, and then obviously just all the kuda and tuna action has just been phenomenal. So
and bullfish as well. I mean,
bullfish, yeah.
Lots of small fish, lots of salies, marlin. I think Kev got his third marlin, almost slacked him, but luckily he didn't get injured. But yeah, I mean, it really is. It's been unbelievable. So. You know, the great thing is you're going out and you've got 99%, you're going to get a bite. So, you know, 100%. And that's just a bonus. So, yeah.
So that's exactly what this episode of Go Fish Weekly Wrap Up is going to be about. So obviously we've gone through the dead baits, we've gone through the live baits with regards to specifically targeting Kuta. We thought we'd keep it Kuta related this show, just specifically because there's so many Kuta around. And you know, once you get one or two on live bait, 1 or 2 on dead bait, it's still sort of exciting. It's also nice to sort of vary it up a bit and have some artificials on the boat to be able to target those fish with. And also on the flip side, when the bite sort of slows down a bit, having something like this in your arsenal also works exceptionally well. So Byron's going to be running us through that a little bit later. From obviously we've done the bucktails, but we're going to be going through drop shots and jigs and all sorts in sort of the next couple of minutes. But we've got Club Marine, who's one of our stalwart sponsors and has been supporting us from the very beginning, and obviously involved in a lot of our events as well. And they have partnered up with an insurer to provide you with demo cover while your boats or small crafts or kayaks or jet skis, while you are either on the water or you're away from that insured premises. So to find out more, head over to the Club Marine website and go check them out, guys. It's honestly their cover is phenomenal. They've got guys in their team that just know what we need and know what we want, and the ease of claim is superior to a lot of the other insurers on the market at the moment. They are just phenomenal.
Yeah, so, definitely. I mean, you always, whenever you see or talk about it, you always see a positive spin coming out. And in this day and age, we've had a few boats go missing in the last couple of weeks. So it's just not worth having the risk, with not having insurance. Rather have it, and at the end of the day, if you chat to Club Marine, they'll look after you and they'll gear it and tailor make it to what you require. At the end of the day, they do understand fishing. It's their background. So really, go and support them. They support all aspects of fishing as well. Very much involved.
100%. And we've obviously, guys, with everything that we're doing, just to sort of run over it, we haven't done it in a while. So Mondays we've got the Go Fish with Friends or our strike mission. So that air every Monday at 8. Every now and then we take a break, but generally every Monday at 8 you can expect to see an episode, either a strike mission or Go Fish with Friends episode. Then on Wednesdays we've got a pro tip. And that's just one of the anglers giving sort of a pro tip on whether it's tackle or lures or traces or whatever it is, or even launching as well. And then we move on to our Thursday, which is our wrap-up show. Friday, we've got a highlights reel of all the live stream fishing that's been done throughout the week. And then obviously there's also the live stream fishing that happens throughout the week as well. So make sure you head onto our Facebook page and click that little like tab or follow tab there. And every time you get a live every time we go live, you'll get a live feed, a notification that'll pop up on your Facebook page, notifying you that we have gone live and we're fishing. The same abides for our YouTube channel. So head onto our YouTube channel, like our page, and every time we post a new video or something like that, you'll be able to also see that there's some new content that's available now on our Facebook, on our YouTube channel. Talking about our YouTube channel, the latest mission was the Zinkwazi mission that Byron was on. He went up with his mate Richard Jones up to Zinkwazi, and I think Cam was along for the ride there, I think. and yes, you caned the fish on that.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those days when sort of it all came together. We found some fish on the way up, so it was lekker because we didn't have to run all the way there and spend sort of an hour and a half, 2 hours running there. We fished on the way up. We started in Sloti. We stopped off at PG and then worked our way up, and there was some snook there boiling and busting up there, and we managed to get a couple of chases, and we didn't go tight there. Got a small cooter there and then carried on up, and the cooter were on there, and then we some Dorado came in, the yellowfin, and got some yellowfin at Salt Rock. So it was just one of those days when it just came together and was a really awesome day, really blessed day. I
mean, this time of year, that Princess Grant, Zinkwazi area fishes exceptionally well, and we're moving into, what are we now? We're in March now at the moment. March is a cooking time for that area, March, April.
Yeah, 100%.
So, as a first timer, where would you say, if a guy wants to go, he wants to target a croc, what sort of depth would you say sort of focus on, and sort of where would you sort of...
Well, I'm going to be fishing this weekend, so I've heard it's dead and it's not worth going there, guys. The water's ice cold. Rather stick around off Durban, yeah? Just kidding. No, so, I mean, look, that area is full of reef. It's full of reef and generally full of bait, full of reef fish as well, small reef fish. Right from, and the guys are really lucky, that live and fish regularly in that area. From basically Belito going all the way up, there's quite a bit of rock off Salt Rock there, and some drop-offs, and there's flat reef all the way up by Christmas Bay as you head north, and then you get to Umhlali or Zaten, as we call it, and there you get some real reef structure, which is very much, I think, very similar to sort of that Umhloti area as well, where you've got sort of much bigger reef, bigger pinnacles, big drop-offs and that thing, and also carrying, I mean, not every day, but most times you go there, you're going to see big showings, big bait showings, and that obviously attracts the fish in there, and it holds, and I think because there's slightly bigger reef fish there, then you've got your bigger crocs as well, because they do feed off reef fish. There's no doubt about that. And from there, that area there holds just a lot of fish, a lot of bait, and you get your big fish sort of coming and feeding there. And then Princess Grant, I haven't fished that much. What are you
fishing there?
I mean, it's at Zaten. There's a drop off there at about 25 meters. Okay. Drops off from about 25 to 30. So that's, I would say in my mind, that's like the outside. So you'd fish there, and you'll have bait showings, and then sometimes you'll find the pelagics are sitting just off that. So you go a little bit 100 meters outside the drop off, come back in, work your way up and that. But then inside there's lots of pinnacles in the shallows there, and you also get the big cooter in there. So they obviously come in nice and shallow hunting, especially when the water's a little bit off. So you don't necessarily want crystal clear water there, because when you're fishing in the shallows, you want a little bit of off color, and the crocs like that water as well. fish on the top. Always have a top bait there. It definitely seems to get the bites. And then also, I mean, don't be scared to get down deep, especially if you move to a 25 meter. Caught a lot of fish there deep down. You know, if you don't have a down rigger, like put like a 10 or 12 ounce, even a bottom sinker, let it down, hit the bottom, and come up 3 or 4 turns basically. You know, so that you know that you've got one bait right down there.
Yeah.
But that for me, that area we call it Casuarina, of the Casuarina trees. That's probably about 2 k's, 3 k's north of the launch site in the bay there. That's a very good area, big pinnacle there, and it does hold fish there. So it's well worth working that area. And then obviously as you move north, you've got jets.
Yeah.
Also another good piece of structure, shallow reef, snook there, kuta there as well. And then Princess Grant, I don't know that area that well, but it seems to be a slightly flatter reef. And you probably find generally when you get kuta in that area, it's usually because it's like a shaly bottoms, you know, so it's not necessarily a big reef, but it's shaly bottom, and again, holding bonnies in that area seem to pop up there quite a lot, which obviously the big kuta like, and then there's snook around there as well. So, you know, I'm assuming sometimes, I'm sure those big crocs, they have a dip at a snook.
Oh,
you know, they'll have a go to 2 kilo, 3
yeah,
kilo snook. He's
100%.
not fright at all.
Yeah.
So and then obviously, you know, you go right up to Zinkwazi, you know, and you've got places like Sandy's, and that's, which is a couple of k's off. Also not massive reef, but then you start getting into the cob and that, you know, so there's cob there, and again, it's a slow swimming fish. Big kuta, you know, he can catch that fish and he can eat it easily. So definitely those cob in the shallows there. Also slightly off color water, you know, the big kuta there, and there are big fish there. I mean, invariably if you're fishing there, at least every time you go, you're going to get 1 or 2 big screamers where you get bitten off, you get half a wire back and those sort of things. So yeah, if you're in that area, you're definitely in a chance for a decent sized fish.
100%. So going back onto that Zinkwazi mission that we were just chatting about, that's some content that's on our Go Fish with Friends YouTube channel, and we've got a fantastic little video that we're going to play you from one of the earlier YouTube inserts, some content here, where Ali had a little bit of a mishap off of his jet ski. And if you haven't seen it, it's an absolute classic clip. Here it is.
Tuna. It's a tuna. She went straight into the pin. That's a I got it. Put me off the damn jet ski. Holy hell. Oh gosh.
Well, that's the absolute cracker.
Jeez, but I'll tell you what, but that is that's got to go down. He didn't lose his rod.
Yeah.
He gaffed the fish. He still had the fish on the gaff. He got the whole lot tussled back on the ski. Freaking epic, but that's legend, bro. Legend.
No. Well, I gotta say the wheel turns. All of you oaks were laughing at me for falling off the skivvy. BK, now it's your turn.
Yeah, but I'm trying to stay away from that. Look, I've let go 2 gaffs in about the last 2 weeks, and I promise you, I've never done that in my life. And in the last 2 weeks, I've gaffed a fish, and it's shot off, and the gaff slipped out of my hand. It's actually not that it's been a massive fish. It's just, I'm just not holding the gaff properly. So, yeah, luckily my little aluminium gaff floats. So I've managed. It's like popped back up and just sort of like come back towards the ski, so I can nonchalantly just lean in and pick it up and carry on. Oh, no one saw that. I'll quickly put it in.
So, guys, this is exactly the sort of content that we've been loading on our Go Fish with Friends highlights, or the YouTube channel, this is our highlights reel that comes on every Friday, and then obviously on the Mondays at 8 o'clock is our episode. So make sure you go and follow and like that Go Fish, our Go Fish YouTube channel, and you'll get all that content at your fingertips for free. And there's a lot of tips and tricks that are included in that as well. We've got Lawrence that's also brought out a brand new feature to the HDS range, which is the active target. Now we're going to play you a video of this, maybe discuss it a little bit briefly with BK on that as well. It's a really exciting feature that Lawrence has just introduced. Check this out, because it's something we can also use on salt water.
Seeing the fish, their position, and how they respond in real time. That's game changing.
BK, quickly, I mean, that's quite an exciting thing that Lawrence has just brought into their funds.
Yeah, I mean it's epic. You know, the thing is, look, it's gonna operate obviously in shallow water, but I mean, where we're fishing for bait, kuta, that sort of thing. You know, we're fishing up to sort of 25 meters generally and shallower. You know, that thing, it's gonna work.
Yeah,
But
it's
it
a
is
game
game
changer.
changing. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
100%.
Looking in front of you, especially if you're spinning in that off the boat. You know, you can see the fish. You've obviously it's giving you more of a 3D view as well.
Yeah.
So you can actually start identifying bait fish. You know,
See whether
identify
it's
big
interested
fish.
or not. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So it's definitely an absolute game changer. But I can't wait to try it out, especially in the pelagic, especially the way we fish here. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be. It is a game changer. You're sitting there. Next minute you can see something. You get up and you throw, and you're going to go tight.
Yeah,
Accidentally,
yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah,
Why did he ever
yeah,
throw? You know.
yeah, 100%.
So it's unbelievable.
And I think, and just like everything with technology, it's only going to get better. And I mean, you
100%,
can
yeah.
imagine what we're going to have in 2-3 years' time with the technology that Lawrence has brought in now. So it's really exciting stuff. We've got a couple of comps that are on the go as well, guys. There's the UKFC comp that's coming up, sponsored by Wardell Insurance. You can go onto the UKFC website. That's a kayak fishing comp. It's pretty much the biggest kayak fishing event on the South African shores currently. So get onto their website and give that an enter if you're on a kayak. We've also got the Belito Metabond competition, which is coming up next week. Unfortunately, the entries have closed for that event. But if you wanting to see a bit of a spectacle and enjoy a bit of a vibe, they've got the boathouse that they've rented out there for the weekend, and all the festivities are happening there. You can see the launching and beaching and the weighing in of fish and all that sort of thing. Should be really, really exciting. We've also got the Go Fish Summer Series that's on the go at the moment, which you can enter via the KeepNet website, which is keepnet.co, and you can go on there and you can see the Go Fish Summer Series tab. Click on that and you can enter via that tab. That ends at the end of April, so there's still quite a lot of time in that, and that is a biggest fish comp, guys. Byron, I think, is leading on the species at the moment. But
hanging on, but the guys are coming hard. But
But there's going to definitely be, I think, on the biggest fish side, there's a lot of big fish around, and I think over the next month we might see that biggest fish trumped at the top of the leaderboard with maybe a big kudu or a big wahoo as we move into proper croc season. So, guys, anyone can win it. It's anyone's game. There's 10,000 Rand up for grabs, as well as 10,000 Rands worth of tackle, 10,000 Rand cash and 10 grand tackle for the top prize if you walk away with the biggest fish. And like we said, you can enter the day before the event finishes and you could catch that biggest fish, and it's all been worthwhile, and you take that top spot. So yeah, guys, there's also a lot of other prizes up for grabs. It's all on that KeepNet website, so give it a look. BK, we're gonna slowly get into, or we're gonna get into the kuda side. So the reason why we sort of thought that this would obviously pertain to what the fishing that's on at the moment, obviously the kuta are thick. The other day, secondly, I ran out of bait. So I was sitting there and I thought, well, geez, I know the bucktail works, but what else can we put together that grafts really well in the shallows, while Cam's having a fit behind the camera here, in the shallows to target kuda with? Because the guys are actually having that issue where they're actually running out of baits with all the kuda that are around. So, yeah, BK, you want to sort of pull us in there.
Yeah, I think, guys, just also while you're talking about baits, I mean, there's talking to a lot of guys, the fish are eating dead bait as well. So, you know, a lot of, especially in the Durban area, very spoilt with live bait. So, guys load up, you know, if we're going game fishing, sometimes we don't even bother taking any dead bait with us because we know we're going to catch live baits. And it's been a bit iffy some days. It's actually been a little bit bleak. So just, you know, just take some backup with you, even if it's a box or two of sards. They've been eating sards. You know, and if you can take some dead mackerel with you as well. They definitely haven't been shy to dead bait. In fact, a couple of guys have done better with dead bait than the guys who've been fishing with live bait. So, yeah, so just take that with you. And yeah, I mean, we spoke a lot about the bucktail, and I mean, and the Kuda really do love a bucktail. This is my go-to here. It's a 2-ounce Spro bucktail. It's the pearl chartreuse, so it's got the pearl head, and then just with a little bit of chartreuse on the top, the back there. And yeah, the Kuta really love this. And I mean, the way I rig it is about 400 mil length of number 4 or number 5 wire, and then a number 6 swivel. So you need to put wire on, guys. When the Kuta are there, you know, you're just going to go through tackle if you don't put it on. The key thing is to make sure that you keep that wire straight. So if you do get a bite, if you get an on-off, it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but if you get an on-off and the wire, and I'm not talking about the wire being kinked to break, as soon as the wire is deformed in any way, for some reason, it either changes the action of the lure or it's creating some kind of distortion in the water. And your bite rate goes down probably about 60-70%. So literally, I've been working, I've had a pull, I carry on for another 10 minutes, no bite. Okay, let me change the wire, and literally on your first or second throw again, you're back on the bite again. So that's vital, is that wire is dead straight. And then the action on this, it's a very slow, for me, I work at a very slow retrieve. I work it with a whip stick. Guys have got 2 options. So this is an all-rounder, a whip stick. So it's a bit more old school. It's a 250, so it's about an 8.5 foot whip stick. You get them from King's. It's a 250/7. The guys have made up a few now, so maybe if you just say it's a whip stick that Byron's been having made for some guys, they should know what it is. They know how to make it up now. It's got some quality eyes on it. And the beauty of this is that you can work it with anything. So you can work it with a bucktail. So here's the mustard as well. I've got a Kuta on this on this black with the red eyes and a little bit of purple. You can see it doesn't have much tail left. But essentially, there it's made up. So as I was saying,
That's a King's one, eh?
yeah. It's a mustard, I think, mustard. And you can see there, it's got about 400 mils of number 4 wire and a number 6. So the nice thing about this, especially when you're fishing for Kuta, is you want the bigger gauge hooks. That's nice because, you know, just they've got a big mouth. They come in and they hit hard like that. So the wider gauge gives you a better hookup rate. So that was nice early in the morning. That darker color. It's the first time I've used black, but it worked. The Kuta Chard had that bit of purple in. So obviously that talks again to sort of early in the morning, darker color, overcast, and it operated. But the action on the rod is very much a slow action like that, and it's a 1-turn retrieve. So it's once like that, and you're using the tip of the rod. It's a whippy rod. So that action on the rod then creates the movement in the water, especially on with the Spro, is that it actually darts through the water like that. So if you pull it too fast, it ends up just operating like that, which is not very realistic. And if you're giving it that slow whip, you'll actually see, if you're wearing polarized glasses, when it comes up, you'll see that it comes up behind the boat, and it's just darts like this. I mean, really, if you're thinking from a Kuta's perspective,
with a white
it's
irresistible.
white belly.
The Bucktail is really underrated lure.
And the fun part about that is, you know, when the Kuta do go a little bit quiet and possibly they're looking a bit iffy on baits, you've always got a chance as long as you're working that. Also, what it does is also sometimes tracks the fish in. So if they're a little bit deeper, generally when I'm working it, if we're trawling, I'll throw up about 45 degrees off the bow, throw it out about 30 meters and let it sink. So as we're going up towards it, let it sink down as deep. If you can get it to the bottom, that's ideal. And then work it up at a 45 degrees. So as as the boat goes past and sinking, as it starts coming off the stern at 45, then work it up, and then invariably it's coming up amongst your baits as well. So if the cutter were deep, and let's say your baits are set about 10-15 meters up, brings them up, he may not necessarily have a go at the bucktail or any of your other artificial, but he sees the bait then and he has a go at the bait. So as long as you're operating, and the guys, I mean, I've seen a lot of guys also working poppers as well, throwing poppers over the baits straight out the back while you're slow trawling, and then working them. So instead of throwing away, throwing over the baits, and also then creating surface disturbance. So the coots also come up, have a look, and then here comes a bait past a live mozzie or mackerel or dead baits, and they have a go. So any sort of action. So don't be lazy on the boat and just, okay, we put the rods out now, we're going to sit down and chill. The more effort you put in, like with any sport, the more reward you're going to get. So you're out there, maximize your chances. So definitely the bucktail around for kuta is a must.
And that specific, just that style specifically as well, the 2 ounce you found.
Yeah, 2 ounce. Ali also works with a 1.5 ounce. So again, it's also, I think, depth of water and where the fish are sitting. I'll lean towards a 2 ounce just because I like to get to the bottom, because then when you're working it back and you've thrown away from the boat, it's coming up, at 45 degrees off the boat, and it's also working through for a longer period of time through the water column. Whereas if you drop it straight over the side, or if you throw it up and it sinks right next to you, which you would do if you had a shorter rod, like a 6.6 or a 7 foot lighter rod. This is the Dawa Excella. It's a 7 foot medium, and then basically here would be a slightly quicker action. So now you're throwing it up, letting it sink down next to the boat as it comes past the boat, then working up. So it's more of a vertical jig type action. But if you watch Alistair on some of the videos that are on YouTube, you'll see he works that type of rod quite a lot, and he's got that very similar action, and it's almost like 1-2 stop, 1-2, and you can mix it up a bit, a little bit, couple of quicker ones. And again, as long as you don't want to work it too fast, because you want that action. And if you work it too fast, you'll actually work it through the action, and it doesn't really react as what you want it to do. But those two retrieves is very much how I'll fish all the time. So no matter what the bait. So if we move out of the bucktail, and the reason why we're fishing 2s and 1.5s is because that lighter head allows for the action. So as soon as you go up to a 3 ounce or a 4 ounce, it starts getting heavy in the water, and you've got stretch. Even if you're fishing braid, you've got leader, bit of slack in the water, and then the action starts. It stops the darting, and it starts just coming straight, which it's not as realistic to the fish. So definitely the 2 ounce, 1.5 ounce, the lighter the better, the more action in the water, and just that little flick of the rod tip, and let the rod create the action water. And like I say, in clean water, you can watch it, you can actually see the action, and you can understand then what you're doing is what's reacting on the bait in the water. So that's quite key. You can even do it in your pool at home and just have a look to see what it's doing. So very much another bait that kuta love is a drop shot. So plastic baits, and I mean, again, I'll always look for quite a wide gauge hook. So you want something that's got a wide gauge. These are mustards. They're hard to find, but you get about a 1.5 ounce and a 2 ounce head, but it's got this V shape. So it's got a V head on it like that, and what that does is it creates that same sort of action that you get off the Spro bucktail. So again, it's not about having to cane it too fast. If you're working very fast, it's going to work straight through the water, and then becomes more of a reaction bite. Whereas if you're working it slower, it again gets that darting, and then you've got the paddle tail on it. So you'll see a lot of my colors are quite natural that I'll fish. So it's a lot of pearls, pinks, and most of them will be 5-inch. I just find that sort of 5-inch size talks to a lot of different species, not only kuta. So you've got the Kingfisher Mimic. They've got a great range and of colors, and then you've also got the McCarthy saltwater bait. So those are the two that I'll use the most. What I do is I sort of on the jig head side, I'll get Mary. I mean, I'll paint the heads. to get glow. So Al also does it. He changes the colors. So he's got markers and he changes the color, makes it red. Or so you've got all those options as well. I get the glow paint, put the glow paint on the head. That seems to work quite well as well. But you can mix that up. You can put lines on it and that sort of thing. I also trim the tail, and the reason why I trim the tail is just so it can drop quicker through the water column. So obviously, if you've got the full tail, it's creating it's action, but it's slowing it, dropping down the water. And again, we want to try and get this thing as deep as possible, and then work it through the column again. And again, you don't have to work this thing fast. First of all, you've got the jig head action, and you know that if you pull a paddle tail through the water, so I just cut a V in the tail just to reduce the amount of drag. Paddle tail through the water. He's got his tails going, and now you've got this darting as well. So a very realistic bait. This shape here is a great shape as well. It's just something about it that a lot of the species like it, but a lot of success on this shaped paddle tail. Slightly different. The McCarthy here is more got that fatter body on it. This is the ice cherry, or cherry ice, should I say. You got that pearl. You see, it's got that two sort of wedges in it, which I think maybe just gives the body a little bit more action. And then when you've got that rough edge on it, also it breaks up the water a little bit around the body, so it creates a bit of break in the water and a bit of shimmer, so it looks again more realistic. But as you can see, so colors, I like to go over the contrast, but generally a pearl with a color mixed into it. The natural colors, as you can see, the bulk of them are in the 5-inch. The 5-inch size. I'm not saying that's the only size that works. Obviously, on the day, everyone says, "What, match the hatch or something? Put something in the hatch." But that's that's got that pearl color on it. It's a pearl with that little bit of purple in it. This purple also, that pearl purple on the back, also excellent. I've caught a hell of a lot of fish on that. And then what do they call it? The funky chicken, or it's got so many different names. The curry, have a curry, or whatever it might be. That's that there. I haven't caught as many kuta on this. This is very much for kingies, jeets, and those sort of things. They really, really like that color. So that's pretty much my sort of what's in my box there in terms of the drop shot side. But the great thing about drop shot is it just opens up a whole world for you. So I think, as Kirk said, when you were fishing earlier, so you're fishing for kuta, but you're fishing in an area with so much reef. I mean, especially like Umshloti, as you go up north, I mean, even Seabell, Stud, right up to Zaten, especially Zaten area as well. You'll see a lot of guys now are either drop shotting or bucktailing, or these guys who are active on the boat or throwing popper. So it's great to see that the Oaks are starting to become a lot more active on the boats, and you can see then they're getting the reward and catching a lot more fish.
I think on those drop shot heads, I think I think something that the guys must make sure that they something you got to make sure that you pay attention to with regards to your drop shot hooks, because you get a wide variety of drop shot hooks, and the pressure that you're putting on these hooks from fishing them more at a vertical angle than you would off of the shore per se is a hell of a lot more. So you need to find hooks that have got your actual hook needs to be a lot sort of sturdier, maybe a little bit thicker, just to sort of take the heat of and the pressure of that you're going to be putting on that fish.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I literally every time I go shopping or I'm at a fishing tackle shop, I will go and look at their drop shot area, because you battle to find them. You battle to find this shape head first of all, and then with a solid hook. And if you do, then normally it's like a 1/2 ounce or 1 ounce, where you're actually looking for a 2 ounce. If you can get the 2 ounce, and I'll just keep buying. So you can literally see, I just keep buying and keep adding, because especially if the kuta do come in town and you are fishing for sort of kingies and those things, you get cleaned up very quickly and you lose a lot. You get bitten off before you move to wire. So the same thing will apply if I do move to wire. If there's kuta in the area, is the same sort of length of wire, exactly the same way that you would rig a bucktail. And what the guys do as well is you can actually put on the back of your bucktail, you can actually rig your drop shot on there as well. So if you want to just give your bait your profile a little bit more size in terms of the cooter, you can slide him onto that onto the hook. Again, what it does do is it does lessen the action, so that natural sort of side action. But then obviously now you've got the tail moving on the back. So, and I've seen the guys catch a lot of cooter like that as well. So don't be shy to just, if it's quiet and you're not getting the bite, sometimes the bucktail, maybe it's a little bit small for what the profile of the bait fish are in the water. You're trying to get the same size, and that can work as well, definitely. Right. I mean, the other thing which is an unbelievable bait, less so here for cooter, but I think with the amount of shoalies that are around now, I think definitely your squiddy, the squiddy type jig, and again in sort of like the for me the 3 ounce and 4 ounce is a great size, just all rounder. This curry color or funky chicken, whatever it might be, is also a great color, and a lot of cooter come on this in Mozambique. So there's no reason why now with the number of shoalies that are around, they're not going to be tackling this thing one shot. Again, it's a little bit challenging with the wire, because you have to put the wire on and you've got to make sure it doesn't get kinked, and with your action sometimes it does jump around and get on it and buckle a little bit. But at the end of the day, if they're there, it's something just to keep in your arsenal as well. Give it a crack every now and again. But for the pelagic side, I would generally stick more with the with your drop shots and your bucktails. And then just another, if you go onto your jigs. So again, for cooter, your longer profile jigs, and especially your pinks and your silver that have got the silver flash. So those for cooter are deadly. Again, you have the problem of wire. But you'll end up, maybe you'll get like every sort of third or fourth or fifth one out. So you'll have to break your piggy bank if you want to keep fishing with the jigs. But that longer blade type jig, I call it a butterfly jig. Generally, when it's got on the sink on the way down, it's doing that butterfly and it's flashing the cooter. They can't help themselves, and they go for it. And then obviously, you've got all your slow pitch type jigs. So that's sort of the color I'm talking about. That pink with a silver flash. But invariably your longer butterfly type jig.
Are you talking more because the butterfly jigs are a bit of a wider profile as opposed to, like, that would be a knife jig, I would say. So are you talking more from would that be a profile that you'd go for the
I'd go for this profile,
okay,
yeah. So I'd go that color code, that profile, but you get a slightly flatter one. So slightly flatter body.
I think Kings have actually just bought in a slightly flatter one with this sort of skinny profile as well. It looks deadly.
Yeah, so that that's sort of like 80 to 120 gram, but you want the length, and because that gives you again that fluttering on the way down. And 9 times out of 10 you're going down. All of a sudden, why is it going down so fast? The cooter's picked it up and he's screaming off. So just also some tips when especially if you pick up cooter on your artificials. You might be fishing for kingies and those sort of things. You can generally tell the difference straight away when you get picked up by a cooter, and invariably it's he's confused. So he's like a 10-year-old. He gets he'll come. So he comes and he hits this thing, and it's almost like, where's it? If you go onto like a kingy or something like that, you'll go on and you'll feel weight straight away, and he's charging for the bricks. And whereas the cooter, he'll pick it up and he'll be like almost light and like holding it. And what he'll do is he'll invariably swim towards you. So you'll swim almost towards the boat like that. So as soon as and he'll shake his head once or twice. So as soon as you feel that 1 or 2 like little violent shakes, and he's coming towards the boat, it's a cooter. The first thing to do is slack off on the drag. Yeah. Just come off on the drag, because they've got quite soft mouths. You've obviously only got a single hook. And what they will do is they'll come to the boat. You'll wind them all the way to the boat, and he's going to see the boat, and he's going to take off. Yeah. So you'll keep trawling. You can bite, it's like a garfish or a small fish or whatever. There's a 20-kilo cooter, and he swims right to the boat to have a look, and then he actually realizes, hold on, there's something going on, and he takes off. And 9 times out of 10, your drag's tight set for like fishing for kingies or something like that near the bottom where you don't want to reef for ambers or whatever it might be. and then he takes off, and you either tear the hook out or you even pop the line because he's so aggressive on that first run. So, as soon as you feel him coming, he's got a bit, wild head shake coming, trying to split the hook. Just come a half turn back, and let him, and even go light. So like as he comes, let him take, and then he's going to do it like a big run. Let him go, settle down, and come. And it's the nice thing about the longer rod is it's got a nice long soft tip. So even though you're on the braid, is that when he comes and shakes his head by the boat, it's not as aggressive as what the shorter rods are. There's a lot more give on there, so it gives you a bit more chance of not pulling the hooks out. But yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's pretty much just this is what would be in my box now. We're going up to Salmon Bay this weekend, or to Salt Rocks. I'm going to fish that area, so that will be in my box. And then next weekend we're going up to Vidal. So I'll take this anywhere. You can fish this little arsenal anywhere you want. Obviously if there's currents and that, you have to go up in your jig head sizes. So go from a 1.5 to 2.5 up to 3, 4. It's just difficult. You're trying to match the hooks now to your baits without losing the size, going too big on your profile. But yeah, invariably that's sort of that's the arsenal that I'll take out there. And guys, yeah, there's nothing better like catching fish on top water, with the popper. There's nothing better than catching fish, when you got the rod in your hand, you're working it, and you go on. So yeah, put it into your arsenal. It's definitely worthwhile.
And I think also, it brought up a couple of months back with regards to just putting that stick bait. We chatted about it before the show. Putting that stick bait right out back, that lipless stick bait, right out back, and way beyond your baits, and just pulling it along with your baits. And often you get that kuta on that lipless stick bait. So it's a great thing to also add to your arsenal, guys. It's another way for you to increase your chances of catching a kuta in that, and catching fish. Obviously the more rods you've got in the water, but a bit of a plan. The other thing, just on those stick baits and on the actual shape of these jigs, something that was brought up, we were chatting about the stick baits and the top water baits and poppers and that, but more specifically about the stick baits is it's changed my sort of thought process when I'm going into a tackle shop now and I'm looking at artificial baits, specifically lipless lures. What is it, Cam?
There we go. No, we are. Just had to reconnect. I don't know why.
Sorry about that, chaps. It's just a bit of an issue there. But yeah, I don't know where we dropped off, but basically the actual head of the lure, making sure that if you've got bucks only for sort of 2 stick baits, and it really is a great way of targeting fish, even when specifically when you're pulling dead baits or live baits or something like that, you're going a little bit slower. You want something that's got a nice sort of wide wobble, or just a bit of a wobble right out the back beyond your baits, just for maybe a fish that's not too keen on chowing, but more of a slice sort of fish. You often get a pickup on that. So go into the tackle shop, check your sort of stick baits out, look at the lips of the baits and sort of the bellies, and you want maybe to choose a bait that's got a bit more of a slender sort of look to the nose, and one that's maybe looks like it is going to be providing a bit more resistance against the flow of water, to give you a bit of a wider wobble when you're pulling it, so that you've got 2 stick baits with 2 different actions, and go for natural colors if you've only got bucks for 2. So that's just a little tip that came from Ideal Kaji, which I thought was really, really good, to going and actually spending wisely in the tackle shop, instead of just going and saying, oh, that looks lekker, Go and think about the baits that you're putting out. So BK, I think we finished on that topic of the kuta. Guys, the kuta have been loose lately, so make sure you get out in the action, because it's not going to last for long. It's not going to, hopefully it does, but it does. Generally it doesn't last for long. So make sure you get in on it now if you've been sort of putting it off. Okay, so yeah, Clinton Davids, if you don't redeem that prize in the next week or 2, we're going to have to give it, unfortunately, to someone else. Guys, if you haven't been on to the new Ford Ranger website of late and checked out the new Ford Rangers that are available in the market at the moment, you've got that beautiful, beautiful Raptor, the Thunder, and the new Ranger 2.2 and 3.2s that are out. The bi-turbos, they've got some fantastic options in the Rangers at the moment. Have a look at this video we're about to show you now, and if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. But get yourself down to one of your Ford dealerships and give them a whirl.
Then go explore. Make an entrance. Yeah, that's it. And don't waste a single day, because you could be inspiring someone. Put in the work. The hard work, the hustle, the grind. It's tough out there, but you're tougher. Make your own fun. Share the journey. And never forget who you are and why you live the Ranger life.
All right, guys. So that is it for this evening. BK, you heading up to Salt Rock this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to meet up with some of my old school buddies. We're having a little bit of a reunion up there. We're staying at Salt Rock Caravan Park. So I know it's just up the road, but yeah, I think it's good to get away. So yeah, hopefully I can get up nice and early in the morning and get on the water as well. Get some fishing in there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, awesome.
Lekker. I think we're going to be jumping on the kayaks this weekend and also maybe doing a bit of ski boat fishing. But I'm going to try and jump on the kayak this weekend and head down south. So if any of you guys are keen to join us down south, give me a shout and we can always hitch up and go together. So guys, have an awesome weekend. We will be back next week, Thursday, same time, same place, or maybe different place. We don't know. but yeah, catch us next week. And the pro tip that'll be on Wednesday, you can catch that as well. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
100%, guys. Cheers. Have a good evening. Catch us